everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. Today I want to take a moment and talk about self-confidence. I'm going to take a break from doing crafts today and talk about self-confidence and how we need to have more self-confidence in our own artwork. I've noticed a lot of social media posts across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's been a lot of people who will post pictures of their artwork and say that, oh, I didn't do a very good job, but here it is. Or, oh, I messed up in this part, but just overlook that. Or, you know, something that immediately when we read it, we are immediately drawn to, oh, what's wrong with this? What did they do wrong? How could, you know, there's this weird psychological trigger that happens when you preface something with an excuse or with a, oh, I did this wrong. Like, our brains automatically search for the problem, or we start noticing all these flaws in it. I think what we need to do as an art community is, instead of presenting it with that, oh, but attitude, we need to have self-confidence in our artwork, and we need to present it to the world and say, this is what I've done, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I've done. You can accept it, you cannot, that's fine, but I'm proud of this. This is my artwork on display for the world. And it's really hard to put our artwork out there. First of all, I've recorded this video 3 times now because it's been so hard for me to get my thoughts organized and collected. And I've recorded a video and I didn't like it. So I recorded another video and again, I just didn't like it. So I've recorded this video 3 times now because I completely understand being critical of our own work. I also understand it from a little bit of a different perspective. Some of you know that I'm a lighting designer here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I design for live theater shows. I talk a lot with my hands, I'm just noticing that. Anyways, I design here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I'm freelance, and it's hard. It's really, really hard. In fact, I'm working on a script right now for the next show, and I'm sitting here looking at my script trying to come up with ideas of what I can do. It's difficult. It's difficult to get your creative mojo going. And once you do get it going, it's great. But it can also hit those roadblocks. You can have problems that are difficult to get around. So, having been in the world of light design, I have that problem of creative blocks and creative issues. I also get the critics treatment. It can be sometimes favorable, it can be sometimes not so favorable, and sometimes critics don't even mention me at all. And honestly, as a lighting designer, if someone doesn't even notice the lighting, I'm okay with that. That's honestly a really big compliment because it means they were focusing in on the show and the actors and other things. So if they don't notice things like the lighting or the music or the sound or even the set, like if they say, oh, it was gorgeous, but I barely noticed it because the actors were wonderful, and you know, there's a lot that can be said. Now, obviously we want them to notice that there is a set there, but you know, we don't want the set to be the star of the show. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Anyways, I've been at both ends of the critic spectrum, where somebody loved my work, or they didn't like my work. I've gotten some reviews that were not so favorable. They weren't horrible, but it definitely hurt my feelings to see it. And it's very important to remember that these are critics, and I have to take everything that they say, good or bad, with a grain of salt, and I need to be able to accept that. Now, granted, my friends are always very supportive of me. They always tell me that I've done a good job. They will give me constructive criticism, especially those who are in the technical side of theater. They'll give me constructive criticism and tell me that I could have done this in a better way, or I could have pulled this emotion out in a better way. I remember back in college, I had done a really great lighting design. It was for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, and this honestly was the crowning jewel of my college career. I knew I had a great design, and I took it to my lighting professor for him to look over it before he approved it to be put into the theater space. And he looks at it, and then he looks up at me and he says, "This is good for high school." Yeah, that was a bubble burst right there. That was an immediate just poof, gone. Everything, the air in the room, just gone. So I completely get that it's hard for us to put our own artwork out there, especially on Facebook, where our friends and our coworkers and our family members are going to see this. And let's be honest, some of our family members are cruel, or they mean to be helpful, but they say things in a completely wrong way. So I completely understand why we're hesitant to put our own artwork out onto social media. It can be a very treacherous world that we live in, and you're putting your self-expression out there. You're putting your artwork. You're putting your heart and soul out there. But you have to remember, art comes from a beautiful place. Well, at least I say that, and then there are people who say, but I'm painting because I'm escaping from something in my life. Some people paint because they're trying to escape from the cancer and the cancer treatment. Some people paint because and I'm saying paint, but in reality I'm thinking all art, card making, scrapbooking, photography, music, singing, dancing, all of the art that surrounds our lives. So I think paint because I just did this painting with cinnamon recently, so I have painting stuck in my head. But it's not just painting. It's all the crafting and photo taking and just everything that we do that makes our lives beautiful. And so a lot of people, circling back around, a lot of people escape from their lives by diving deep into the artistic realm and taking themselves on a very deep and artistic journey. And a lot of the times the artwork that comes out of pain, it hurts. It's painful. Other people can look at it and just feel that emotion, that need of something out there. And honestly, I feel that's beautiful. Even some of the most gory or most dark or scary pieces of art can be absolutely beautiful. So, it's hard. It's hard. Art is hard. In some of my previous videos I said art is easy. It is not. It's not easy. But art should be fun. It should be a way to release. It should be a way to express yourself. I know I keep saying that, but it's something that needs to be brought out from our heart and our soul. It needs to be brought out in whatever form we choose to bring it out with. I definitely feel that being a lighting designer, I kind of see the world a little bit differently. And of course everybody sees the world a little bit differently. I mean, it'd be a pretty boring world if everybody saw it exactly the same way. So I see the world a little bit differently in light and shadow and colors, and I don't know. I see it slightly different from somebody who may be a scrapbooker, right? It's different. When you're posting to Facebook or any of the social media, I keep saying Facebook, but again, it applies to all social media. Have some self-confidence. The reason I'm posting this is because I noticed there's 2 posts that I can think of in my head, and I don't have their permission. I never asked for their permission, and I'm not going to call them out. It really is universal across all social media. I think people put up their artwork and say, oh, this isn't very good. But, whatever. We need to stop that. We need to stop making excuses for ourselves. We may not be the most talented. We may not be the best at what we do. but we need to be able to accept our artistic space and our artistic place. I feel like people need to have better ownership of who they are and what their art brings to them, right? I feel that we can all be more supportive of each other. Granted, we're really supportive as it is right now. Like, the artist community, I feel, on Facebook and Twitter and social media, I feel like we're great. We do have a lot of people out there that will say, oh, good job, I like this about what you posted, or oh, I love how you used this technique or this color or this whatever in combination with something else, right? And that's really awesome. That's the community we want to build. But we need to stop making excuses. We need to love our art. We need to take responsibility for our art and make it our own. I keep saying make it our own, but I feel like I need to keep saying that because people, I feel like, are not quite getting that and understanding that we need to accept the artwork that we produce. And if you're frustrated with a piece, put it down. Like, if you get frustrated and are about to pull your hair out, or it's physically making you angry, or, you know, something of that, put it down. It will be there. It will still be there when you come back to it an hour later, a day later, a week later, a month later, even a year later. Our artwork is still going to be there. And I also feel that we don't need to trash our artwork either. There are times when we do need to start over. Lord knows, as the lighting designer, I've had to start over on designs because I start going off in a direction and I hit that point that it just doesn't go any further. And I realize, you know what? This is just not going to work. That's okay. I can accept that. I've used every trick I know. I've used every bit of my knowledge to figure out how I can make this work. It's not going to work currently. Okay. I'm going to put it down for a little bit and I'm going to come back to it. And if I can't get something working when I come back to it, maybe it's time to consider moving to something completely different. Like, move to a different design scheme, or, you know, there's multiple avenues for me to go on once I realize something may not work out. And sometimes our mistakes can actually turn into really beautiful things. Everybody knows that they've made some sort of mistake and it's worked. It's gone great. The door has been opened and you're suddenly inspired by what you see in front of you. Or that simple little detail that you didn't think would work out suddenly pulls the entire artwork together. So, you know, I really think that everybody needs to do the 1-on-3 rule. And I don't know if that's an actual rule, but I'm going to make it a rule now. The rule is, for every one thing that you feel like you have done wrong or done a mistake on, or, you know, whatever, for every one thing that you feel you did not do correctly, look for three things that you have done correctly. Don't ignore them. Don't overlook them. Find those 3 things that you know you have done well, right? Because that painting back there, yeah, I made mistakes. That was my second painting ever. There's my first painting ever right there. Well, I mean, I'd done painting when I was in elementary school, but I mean, that doesn't count. That's too long ago. As an adult artist, that's my second painting. That's my first painting. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I feel like I have come on a long journey just with these 2 pieces right here. You know, you can tell that that's a pumpkin, that's a jack-o'-lantern, and it was a fun piece. It was more of just kind of kicking back and having fun, right? It wasn't a serious art piece where I'm like, oh, I'm going to be super serious and this is going to be the best masterpiece ever. No. It was fun. It was happy. It was spending time with my friends. and getting to enjoy everybody's company as we were drinking and painting and just having a really good time, right? Very similar to this one. This one is it's a step up. It's a lot harder than this one was. This one needed some structure to it, right? You needed to know what you were looking at for this one, right? And I feel like I've done it successfully, right? You can tell that that's the sun with a bird flying in front of it with the clouds, right? Like you can see that. It's there, and you understand it, right? So when people look at their artwork and say, "Oh, I didn't do that right," stop. Right there. You found one thing that you don't like about your artwork. Okay, fine. Now find 3 things you do like or that you did well, right? It really does. It helps. It helps a lot to realize that you can do amazing things. And, it's difficult. It's hard. I'm my own worst critic, looking at my artwork, looking at my cards, looking at my light design, looking at my paintings. We are our worst critic. And that's a cliche thing, and I feel so cliche saying it, but it's true. It is 100% true. We see all of our flaws, right? When I was doing light design, I would end up running the shows as well, so I would be stuck watching the show over and over and over and seeing all the mistakes that I did in the show and thinking, oh, if I just had one more day, I could have done this. Oh, if I just had one more day, I could have done that. It's tough. It's tough not to do it. But I can guarantee you that the audiences who were in the auditorium, in the space, watching the show, 90% of them never even noticed my mistakes. They never even saw what I was seeing. They saw the actors. They saw emotion from those actors. They could see the actors, which is pretty helpful in theater. But they also they didn't see the mistakes and the places where I missed, right? They understood that. They understood. Like, I don't know. It's hard. It's really, really hard to get over your own mistakes, but I'm challenging everyone. You can do it. You can overcome your mistakes and your shortcomings, or whatever you want to call it, and realize that you are a great artist. Am I ever going to be the Michelangelo of design or painting or crafting or whatever? No. I'm never going to be the 100% best. And I'm okay with that. Right? Like, everybody, we can accept that. We can accept that I didn't go to painting school, so obviously I'm not gonna be repairing the Sistine Chapel, right? But I can accept the fact that I can do my best. I can take a look at my art and see what I've done right, and I can accept it, right? And I think we all need to do that. We all need to take a step back and say, I did great. I did really good on this one. It's not boasting. It's not being vain or, all those words that go along with what we have in our head saying, oh, if I brag, it's gonna look bad on me. No. We all can step back at our artwork and say, I did this successfully. I did this technique successfully. I made this great scrapbook layout. I painted this beautiful painting. I made this beautiful card. We can accept that, and we can step back and we can say, I did that. Right? Like, it's something within us that we can express outwards and say, I did it. Right? And I did do it. I got an award back in 2003. Now, I've been nominated for this award since 2011, I believe, and I've won it I've been nominated since 2011, every single year. I won it in 2013, 2012, 2013. But, you know, honestly, this show that I won it for was for A Few Good Men. I designed the show, and I knew I had done a good job. I knew I had hit it out of the park on this one. Like, it was a good show. And that's okay for me to say. It's okay for me to know that this show that I won the award for was the best show that I'd ever designed. And honestly, this show is the best design show that I've done ever so far. Will there be others? I sure hope so. I sure hope every show that I do is going to be the best show that I've ever designed. But I know that show, which is very special to me, is my crowning jewel, right? So look through your art, whatever it is, look through your art and find that piece that's your crowning jewel, right? In fact, I think let's make this a challenge. Here's the challenge. I've said the challenge so many times and we have so many challenges going on, but here is your challenge. Go to your art stash, whether it be paintings, cards, etc. Find that one artwork piece, take a picture of it, and post it on your Facebook page, or your Twitter, or your Instagram, or show it on your YouTube. Whatever social media outlet that you use most commonly, picture it, post it, tweet it, whatever. Show the world the one crowning jewel that you say is your best piece ever. Show the world who you are. Accept it and own it. Be confident in your art, because it's you. It's your self-expression. It's who you are. And own it. Right? I think that's fair. I think that is absolutely fair for us to be able to show the world who we are. Right? At least, I hope. So, take this video, and when you're feeling frustrated, or you're feeling sad, or you're feeling upset about your art, I want you to watch this video. And I want you to remember who you are as an artist. Whether it be beginning your art journey, in the middle of your art journey, or if you just created your most beautiful masterpiece ever. If you feel down about your art, or you feel that you lack self-confidence, watch this video. Remind yourself that you're good, and that you're not just good, but you're great. And don't let other people cut you down and say that you're horrible. Be able to accept constructive criticism and be able to know what constructive criticism is. There are people out there who just want to tell you, you suck, you're horrible, you're bad. That's not true constructive criticism. Listen to what people have to say. Be able to distinguish if they are trying to give you constructive criticism or if they're just trying to cut you down. Because constructive criticism is a great tool to have in your artist toolbox. And it's a skill to navigate through the world and understand what people are saying. It's hard. It's definitely very, very hard. But I know that we're able to do it. You know when somebody is giving you that constructive criticism that is going to help your next art piece be even better. So take that advice that they give you and use it. Apply it to your next piece and move forward in your art journey. So this video was really long and I apologize, but it needed to be said. It needed that self-confidence in the art community. I sure hope will grow after this video. So I know this video wasn't like my typical videos, but I needed to get this out. I needed to express myself here on YouTube and let everybody know that your art matters, right? And I want you to go out into the world, and I want you to be able to share this video with your friends who say, you know, you see them being down on their own artwork. Share this video with them. Tell them something about their artwork that you like. Even the smallest of detail can really lift people's spirits. So when somebody says, oh, I didn't do this very well, look at that painting, look at that picture, look at that music, or listen to that music, or whatever it is, and inspire them. Tell them that they did a good job doing blank. Oh, this looks great because of blank. There's so many different ways to raise their spirit. So remember, guys, be confident in your artwork. It's your journey. It's who you are. It's you. I hope you liked today's video. And don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, hit that button down below that says subscribe. That'll subscribe you to my YouTube channel so that way you can get great updates every time I post a new video. Hopefully I'll get back to crafting next week. Also, don't forget, guys, you can check me out on all my social media pages and links and apps and all that. Just take a look down in the description below. All my social media will be listed right there so you can check me out over on social media. I think that's going to do it for today's video. So until next time, guys, remember, be confident and keep it off kilter. Bye!